Although the general public think of the CRA role as a very prestigious role, within the industry, it's actually not quite so high on the totem pole. Now let's talk about 5 myths about being a CRA. Number 1, you get to travel to fun places. As a regional traveling CRA, you most certainly get to travel. You actually get to travel a lot, especially if you're working for one of the larger CROs. Most companies have a 60 to 80% travel requirement, although some do less, but most of the time you do have to travel outside of your region. Most companies do, however, attempt to keep your travel within no more than one time zone over. But most of the places you travel to will not be what most people would consider to be fun. Most of the time, your sites will not be located in a major fun city, so you may have to travel in the middle of nowhere, literally. I had a site in Port Gibson, Mississippi, which was almost 2 hours away from the airport. In fact, I had to drive for about 45 minutes through a national park with no phone reception. But since I'm a country girl, I loved it. However, anytime I mention Port Gibson to other people, they immediately gag at the thought of going there. So you may be one of those people. I've had to go to cities with no major hotels, only motels, and cities where there was only one physician's office in the entire city. So yes, you will travel, but is it always to fun places? Absolutely not. Number 2, you get to make a lot of money. Being a CRA can certainly be a very lucrative 6-figure career. However, as a new CRA, you do have to climb the ladder, so it's not always as lucrative as most people expect it to be in the beginning of their career. In fact, some companies are actually still offering the 50 to 60K salary range for entry-level CRAs, although some are offering within the 70 to 80K range. I always recommend to take what you can get in the beginning to get your foot in the door and get some experience. And within 3 to 6 months, yes, literally 3 to 6 months, you will have people knocking down your door to hire you and pay you more. So don't worry about the money in the beginning. You have to think about it from the long game perspective. Also, once you do reach that 6-figure level, please keep in mind that they aren't paying these salaries and bonuses for no reason. You will be putting in the work, often making work-life balance seem almost impossible. So you also have to look at the big picture when it comes to making money. What are you willing to sacrifice? What type of lifestyle do you want to live? What are your short-term goals and what are your long-term goals? Because just because you can potentially make a very lucrative career as a monitor doesn't mean it's for you. Number 3, it's a prestigious position, so you're at the top of the clinical research food chain. Although the general public think of the CRA role as a very prestigious role, within the industry, it's actually not quite so high on the totem pole. Yes, CRAs serve as the liaison or the face of the sponsor at the site level. However, it can be challenging when dealing with investigators because most CRAs do not have a doctor or doctorate level degree. Consequently, they are often disrespected and maybe looked down upon as unknowledgeable by some investigators. Also, within the study team, CRAs must essentially go along with the study needs. They, of course, provide feedback and insights to the study team about each site's performance and conduct. However, oftentimes the CRA's comments, feedbacks, and concerns are ignored, especially if the investigator is a KOL or key opinion leader, if the study is desperate for recruitment, or if the sponsor is really pushing results for a pivotal study. Number 4, you are in complete control of your schedule. Although you do have some control over your schedule, you still have to work within the monitoring visit frequency required for your protocols. And then to add another layer, you have to work within your site's availability. Sometimes these things conflict with our own personal schedule, and therein lies the challenge. You can certainly plan out your schedule as you see fit, for most companies anyways, as long as you are getting the job done and meeting study and monitoring plan expectations. However, sometimes there are some restrictions, whether they be at the site or within the monitoring plan that make your schedule out of your control. I had a PI once who would only meet with me on Fridays at noon, and the site was about an hour and a half from the airport, and the last return flight home from the site was at 5 or 6 p.m. So because the protocol required us to meet with the PI every single visit, I had to schedule my visits to include a Friday, which I hate, by the way. Flying on Friday evening is a complete nightmare. And because the last return flight was so early, I had to stay overnight and return home on Saturday morning. And yes, I did say Saturday morning. Number 5, you have to take a pay cut if you stop monitoring. Once a monitor, you're stuck monitoring forever. So this too is another myth. There are other industry roles that you can transition into to continue your lucrative career. There is the CTM or clinical trial manager role and PM or project manager roles. And if you don't want to take on that level of study responsibilities, there is the CRA line manager roles. There are also some other interesting auditing roles and CRA monitoring oversight roles housed within the sponsor companies that offer good pay without the monthly monitoring metrics as well. Of course, you can also go into the training and other clinical research departments altogether and still make really great money. Truly, the sky, or as I like to say, the universe is the limit. As long as you don't limit yourself, you can truly take your clinical research career in any direction that you want to once you have monitoring experience. And you can do it without taking a pay cut. You can actually do it with getting a pay raise.